That is question number 2. And thirdly, ask them as well, why is it that this sponsorship doesn't get to the likes of the Yoruba people? Why are they not also sponsored to do these things? Why doesn't it get into the hands of the Niger Deltans as well? And
hello and what's up, guys? In this video we are talking about a viral clip that has got many Nigerians talking. A bold and outspoken northern man has come out publicly to challenge his own people, and what he said has shaken social media. He is not blaming the government, not even the West. Instead, he is calling out a very uncomfortable truth that many people have refused to face. In the viral clip, the man blasts those who keep insisting that the Western world is behind the insurgency in the North. He says enough is enough. According to him, it is time Northerners stop blaming outsiders and start looking inwards. He challenges anyone spreading that narrative to answer some tough questions. He said, and I quote, "If you claim it is the Western world sponsoring all these things, please ask yourself, are they the ones carrying the guns? Are they the ones pulling the triggers? Are they the ones holding the weapons, killing innocent Nigerians?" He goes on to ask another question that hits hard. What about the repentant Boko Haram members being rehabilitated? What about the bandits that the government negotiates with? Are they Westerners or are they Nigerians? The man's tone was firm, no hesitation, no fear. He said, we need to stop diverting blame. But that's not all. He didn't stop there. He also questioned why, if the West truly sponsors insurgency, it only seems to affect the North. Why don't we see this same sponsorship in Yoruba land or in the Niger Delta or among other tribes? Is there an exam one needs to pass before the Western world starts sponsoring violence? Those words hit hard, and you could feel the pain and frustration in his voice. Then he asked one more question that silenced everyone. When people are killed in the name of blasphemy, is it the Western world that tells them to do that too? He made it clear that the real problem lies within, that the North must stop protecting or excusing radical elements and instead call them out for what they truly are. He warned that as long as people keep diverting blame, the truth will continue to be hidden and innocent lives will keep being lost. His message was direct, uncomfortable, but deeply honest. He said the earlier Nigerians, especially Northerners, face this truth and unite against these violence groups, they're better for everyone. Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
I just want you to ask this proponent of this narrative of the fact that it's the Western world that are sponsoring all these things. They are the ones doing all these things. Please ask them this basic question. Firstly, is it the Western world that are equally the foot soldiers? Are they the ones behind the trigger? Are they the ones that carries these weapons that they use to go and unalive people? Is it the Western world? Number one. And secondly, the repentant Boko Harams that are rehabilitated, the bandits that are negotiated with and in the process of rehabilitating them as well, are they Nigerians or are they Westerners? That is question number 2. And thirdly, ask them as well, why is it this sponsorship doesn't get to the likes of the Yoruba people? Why are they not also sponsored to do these things? Why doesn't it get into the hands of the Niger Deltans as well and other minority tribes? Why is it that they don't get this sponsorship? Is it that there is a particular exam you need to sit and pass before the Western world sponsors you? And ask them, on the basis of killing in the name of blasphemy, is it also the Western world that equally tells them to kill people, to unalive people on the basis of blasphemy? Please ask these questions. See, these people are actually striving much more better and doing better in areas where the populace have decided to shield them. They establish a better ground there and they render all this havoc. The earlier we come to terms with this, that there is need for every reasonable thinking Nigeria to kick against these radical elements, to call them out, the better for us. Than this diversion. We always divert the whole story. It's also part of the diversion for people not to know the obvious. And when you talk about this sponsorship now, all they talk about is the fact that it regards the US congressman that came out to equally say that the US aid is used to fund all these activities. But this is the implication of it. Nobody can show me where these monies were budgeted to fund insurgencies. But this is what happens. When this money gets to this country where it's intended to be used for a good purpose, it's diverted. And as such, it ends up being used for these purposes. And that is just it. But the earlier everybody comes to terms with this, the better for everybody than all these diversions we have been deceiving ourselves and lying to ourselves about. Now, talking about this US congressman that came out to say that Christians have been unalived in Nigeria, right? That gained a lot of momentum, but to some certain extent, if we are to put it straight and sincere, that doesn't reflect the reality on ground at the moment, right? But does that mean it has not happened before? The fact is, absolutely it has happened. Let me take you down memory lane a little bit. When Boko Haram started on the basis of attacking Christians, right? A lot of churches were burnt. Christians were the major target. That is in 2009. Till all of a sudden now, and let's ask the question, why were they able to gain a reasonable ground? They were able to gain a reasonable ground because they had a lot of sympathizers from the radical Muslims as well that felt that they were doing God's job. Till the whole thing took a new dimension entirely. And how did it take a new dimension? It took a new dimension when they now discovered that at the end of the day, it's not even the Christians that are their problem. The problem now is any Muslim that doesn't also agree with the fact that people need to be unalived on the basis of they have a contrary religious belief is also an infidel. So they now turned on even the Muslims as well and started attacking them on the basis of their infidel because they don't believe they should carry weapons to go on and unalive anybody that is of contrary belief. That being said, let's talk about the present reality. What is happening at the moment? I think the best caption that would have captioned this well is the fact that the congressman or US should have been able to come out and say that there is an active radical Islamic ideology that is engulfing the nation and is consuming a good number of people. And let's put it this way. Who are their targets? The target of these radical Islamic elements is just anybody that doesn't see even Islam the way they see it. Not just Christians, even Islam. They believe that if you don't think that it's right to wage war against anybody that has a contrary view in regards to the fact that you just believe the kingdom of God must be established on earth, you are an infidel. And as such, they attack anybody, irrespective of your religious belief. Are we going to cite an example? An example in the sense that when you look at the Northeast, the fact is most of the major attacks, majorly that has been responsible for unaliving a lot of individuals, have a radical Islamic undertone. That is just it. And the fact is the government doing anything about that? Have they done anything about that? Absolutely not. Because we have had negotiations with bandits now. And let's put it this way now. Most of these radical elements, when they go to attack, they have an anthem, which is usually Allahu Akbar, before attacking. And you quite agree with me that Allahu Akbar has an affiliation with Islamic concept, despite the fact that it's subject to interpretation. What Allahu Akbar means to a good Muslim is not the same thing as the what Allahu Akbar means to a radical Muslim. And that is just it. And that is what is happening. And funny enough now, look at the dilemma now. The good Muslims to us are people like Sheikh Imam Khalid, Masusuka, and the rest of other people that preach about the need for peaceful coexistence between Muslims and Christians. That doesn't stop anybody from practicing his religion. Those are the good Muslims to the Christians and other the tribes and non-believers as well. But these are also considered as bad Muslims to the radical Islamic ideologists. They see them as Muslims that doesn't reflect reality. Let's cite an instance with even what is happening in Kano at the moment now. You can see this is the same religion, the same Islam. But somebody now haven't said, this is my opinion in regards, this is what this verse of the Quran means, and this is what it entails. The same Muslims now are calling for the unaliving of this man because they believe he has blasphemed against the Holy Prophet. So you get to see, even the Islam is now divided into the radical and the non-radical. The non-radical now are the good ones to everybody and humanity. But the radical ones now are the people that have been rendering havoc, and nothing is done in that regards. Let's look at, it's only in Nigeria, I challenge anybody in the whole world, it's only in Nigeria that we are going to be, Nigeria as a liberal country on paper, that we are going to be counting like almost getting to 10 people that has been unalive on the basis of blasphemy. On the basis of blasphemy. It's only in Nigeria, despite the fact that we say we are a liberal country. And what is the government doing about this? Nothing. Has there been any has anybody been apprehended or brought to book? Nobody. And it's still going on. And it's going to go on for a very long time. And what is the government supposed to do in this regards? Let's ask ourselves this question. Some basic and common things. Let's not look as if we talk without proffering solutions. The fact is, you have to identify these radical Islamic imams that are ambassadors of atrocity, havoc, ambassador of insurgents, that mounts the podium and preach to people and tell them on the need to unalive anybody on the basis of that he has a contrary belief or he's blaspheming. And in so doing now, you have to even touch some basis on the provisions of the Sharia and where it stands. So that is the no-go area now that people see that you shouldn't go that. Why? Because it will affect your political ambition. Evidently with what we have seen with Muslim ticket. So that is just basically what the government need to do. But they are not doing that. First of all, apprehend a lot of these radical scholars that promotes these things, number one. And first of all, there shouldn't be a situation where another provision is challenging the legitimacy or the existence of the constitution that is supposed to be superior, supreme, and binding. I've seen Tinubu's utterance when he visited Plateau State of recent, talking about he has never attempted to convert his wife to Muslim or whatever. They are Muslims and Christians. That coming from a normal Nigerian, an average Nigerian is okay. But from the presidency, that is not what we demand. The fact is, check it out globally. It's also part of the responsibility of the government to ensure that religious practices are regulated in such a way that it doesn't infringe on other people's belief, irrespective of what it is. So, belief is a personal thing. But what do we have? Nigerian government will prefer to play politics around it while people are suffering and a lot of lives are being unalived. So, in as much as we will tell ourselves that it's a propaganda, US is sponsoring propaganda, but to some certain extent, you can't rule out these elements that I'm saying. And I'm not saying this and exonerating even Christians in the first place. It's also part of the government responsibility to checkmate that the fraudulent activities going on under Christianity is also investigated and challenged. But what is happening? Nothing. Pastor gather people and say miracle, whatever, selling miracle, selling a lot of other things, and it goes well. So, it's not... Kai.